actually record this video already and it was like an hour long, but I came to edit it today and realized that I had accidentally deleted it while I was filming Sunday's video. My storage got full on my phone, so the recording stopped, and I had to like delete things just on the spot really quickly, and I accidentally deleted this video. So here we are trying again. So I had to delete things on the spot, and I accidentally deleted this video. So let's try this again. I'm gonna be reading all the same stories, so I already know. I've already read them, but I'll give my opinions again nonetheless. This one is titled, as always, please, if you do enjoy this video, leave it a like and a comment. Comment down below if your opinions differ to mine on any of these stories. I'm curious to know. And also let me know in the comments if there's anything you'd like to see from me. And if you have not already, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps out a lot. But let's just get into the video. The first one is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my son's girlfriend to stay away from him because she is distracting him from his responsibilities? I, 50M, am a single father to my son, 15M. My then girlfriend got addicted to drugs and walked out shortly after he was born. She is no longer in our lives. My son has been making exceptional grades and he plays for his high school baseball team. He is pretty good at that, though in my opinion may be a little biased. Anyway, that was until he started dating a girl, 17F. They met when they were assigned as partners on a project, and I guess they hit it off pretty fast, because this came out of the blue for me when I picked him up one day and he just said, Dad, I have a girlfriend now. I was proud and excited for him, that my son was finally becoming a man. I also had a remedial version of the dog with him. They've been dating for the past few months and they seem very happy together. But my problem is that my son's grades have been slipping. He's been skipping out on chores at the house and missing practice and games. I'm not mad that he is dating, however that should come after business, school, baseball, etc. So last week I told him that he is no longer allowed to spend time with her unless he gets his shit together. He responded, but Dad, I really like this girl. I told him that doesn't matter if you fail and flunk out of school. I don't want you seeing her and that's final. He sighed and said fine. I figured that was the end of it. Well, until yesterday when I come back home from the store and I found them on the living room couch together. He lied to me and said he would have a friend over to study. My son froze like a deer in headlights. I told him to go to his room and then I turned to his girlfriend. Now I'll admit that I might have been a little stern, but I told her to get the hell out of my house and stay away from my son. He doesn't need this distraction, and if I ever catch you two together again, it won't be pretty for either of you. Then the waterworks started and she stormed out. I go upstairs to my son who was already on the phone, telling my mother and my sister, his aunt and grandmother, have always spoiled him. I take the phone and try to explain, but I got lectured for being too hard on him. He's just a boy. I'm just trying to keep my son from ruining his life before it even starts. If he fixes his grades So first, I'd like to thank everyone for taking the time to give me this well-deserved, years-long overdue attitude adjustment. I was an a-hole in this situation. While I was in the right to be worried about my son's academic performance and his responsibilities at home, I'll admit I let my temper get the best of me, and I acted on impulse with how I handled this situation. I shouldn't have yelled at that girl. After talking to my son, it turns out that he never told her that he wasn't allowed to see her. She didn't know, and I shouldn't. I should have gone to my son instead of taking it out on her. My job plus the past trauma from my ex leaving are not stresses that I can self-manage anymore. I'm done lying to myself, and I will be looking into therapy soon. My son has invited her over for dinner later this week. I plan to apologize and explain the situation, and I'll try to work with them to have fair rules that will encourage my son to stop slacking off while also allowing him to spend time with her. You get more flies with honey and vinegar, and prohibition will only make my son lie and sneak around, which could lead to him doing dangerous or irresponsible things. I showed my son some of the comments, and he's been laughing his ass off at everyone roasting me. I may post another update this week after dinner if I remember. Thanks. Edit 2. Well folks, my son just told me via text that he spoke to her at school, and she has accepted our dinner invitation for tomorrow. Expect another update. That one was by I hoped I did not fuck up. It seems like the people in the comments have already told this guy what they think, and they've thrown him a new one, and he seems to have self-reflected quite a lot. Yeah, he was the a-hole. He definitely should have spoken to his son about it and not yelled at that poor girl. Let's go on to the next one. I'm trying to get through all these before I have to leave for work. This is just one of those days where everything's going wrong with me. I have to go into work earlier and just everything is happening all at once. Okay, this one is by OK_client_9406. Am I the a-hole for spending money save for an engagement ring on a tattoo? A bit more than a month ago, my now ex broke up with me out of the blue. I don't want to go into the details of the relationship or the breakup, but we had been talking about marriage before the breakup. We had settled on the wedding bands and an engagement ring. I am by no means well off and arguably live paycheck to paycheck, but I managed to always pay my bills, save money and budget money for fun, concerts, fancy dinners, trips to rent fairs, cons, rallies, random events, etc. While still doing all this, I managed to put aside several thousand for the engagement ring she wanted. After the breakup, I decided to spend that money on myself. I bought myself my favourite bourbon, a case of my favourite cigars, and finally finished a large tattoo sleeve I've been working on for 2 years. The issue came when I started casually seeing a young woman. Let's call her D. I knew D before I met my ex, but we were more acquaintances than anything else, just due to life stuff. And honestly, because I only had eyes for my now ex at the time. But we knew enough about each other that she was familiar with the fact that I'm not one to just casually throw money around. Since this money wasn't budgeted for anything, well, not since the breakup, spending it like that was disrespectful. That I had saved that money for something beautiful, and by wasting it, it proves I never cared about my ex. Dee ended up leaving me at the bar where I am currently typing this up because she was upset with me. Maybe it's the fantastic cocktails blurring my judgment, but am I the a-hole for spending my money? Absolutely not. It's nobody's place to tell you how you should spend your money, especially not someone that you've only just started seeing. When you're like with someone long term and like committed, then it's different. You usually kind of pool your money together, and because you become one, you're like one unit, a family or whatever. But the poor guy, he's heartbroken and he just wants to treat himself. He's not obligated to save that money away for just the chance that he ends up like engaged in the future. That might not happen. He might not find anyone, and also if that does happen, he has that entire relationship with them to save up new money for a ring. So no, not the a-hole. This one is by Moose Loot, and it is titled, Am I the a-hole for calling the cops on Elmer Fudd neighbour? Am I the a-hole for calling the cops? I live in a townhouse community. My neighbour recently installed a high-pitched whining noise device, allegedly to keep out the bunnies. I'm on the East Coast, so it's 12:30 a.m. while posting this. He has a weird obsession with the local rabbits, not because he has a garden or anything. To my knowledge, these bunnies have not wronged him in any way. Nothing seems able to explain his vendetta, and his thick accent makes it really hard for me to take him seriously when he's ranting about the bunnies. The noise is loud enough that my dogs go nuts, and people who sleep on the front side of the house have great difficulty sleeping. I'm usually a just talk about it kind of guy, so earlier this evening I knocked on his door and asked him if he could turn it off so people could sleep. He said to get lost and joked that I should call the cops. So I found a non-emergency number for the local cops and called. I'll update this if anything happens. As a person who generally isn't a fan of police, I may be a-hole for calling them. Update 1. Cop took about 15 minutes to arrive. Not bad for a non-emergency line. And I've been talking to him inside his house, so I can't hear much. Update 2. Ford was telling the cop how I'm a bad neighbour. I have dogs, oh my gosh. They're sweet, always on a leash, always curbed, but sometimes they bark at his annoying bunny device. Can you believe it? The audacity. Cop left, noise machine is off, score 1 for the Bobos for tonight. I somehow bet this isn't the end of Elmer. Debating making a giant Elmer Fudd sign with an arrow pointing at his house for the next time he turns his noise system on. He's the kind of guy who definitely will. Update 3. He decided to make it start during the hours when noise can be louder and has turned it exactly to 65 decibels, the legal limit for daytime. He also set it to run constantly. Oof, my poor dogs. Anybody know if it's legal for me to drop bunny chow on the edge of my yard? I'm thinking of getting some and putting it out when night quiet starts. Other better ideas and or advice on this would be appreciated. Update 4. Elmer decided he lost and hasn't turned on his Wabbit device in over 24 hours. I'm counting not interested in playing nice at all, and he's setting the dogs off, and it's, you know, loud enough where even people are hearing it and can't sleep and stuff. So yeah, definitely not the arsehole, because he's disrupting a lot of people's peace, and he just is weirdly obsessed with those poor bunnies that have done him no wrong, or a strange man. Okay, this one is, am I the a-hole for telling my parents to just get a divorce already? And it is by Arctic_chat 505. Never posted on Reddit before, but I don't know what to do from here on out. When I was in year 8, my parents moved us from our hometown. Since moving, they would yell at each other over things as simple as what's for dinner. My dad would threaten to divorce, and my mum would end up crying so much, so I wish he really went through with it. I tried to tell my parents my own struggles on various occasions, but was always too scared to tell them in person, as they were almost always ready to snap at me or each other. So I wrote them a letter. I put it on their nightstand, and I expected them to take me to therapy. Nothing changed. I assumed they might have lost the letter or thrown it away by accident. So I wrote an email. Weeks passed and nothing changed. One day I was just curious. Maybe my mum hadn't seen it, but to my horror, when I opened her Gmail, it had been read. I was mortified. A few months ago, I told my school counselor in tears what I had been going through. They contacted and explained to my parents I was struggling with mental health, and they suggested I go see a psychiatrist. My parents finally agreed, except after a few weeks of sessions, my psychiatrist suggested I get diagnosed for both depression and ADHD, as I show many of the signs. Since that comment, I have not been back to the psychiatrist. My parents stated that it was ridiculous. I struggled with any of that. My parents stated that it was ridiculous that I struggled with any of that, as I had never brought up my struggles or showed symptoms to them. At that point, I snapped. I was crying and could barely contain myself, and said, "You should just get a divorce already. I feel like you don't even love me." I ranted through tears. My dad said back, "Your mother and I are working through our own issues. We don't have time for your self-diagnosis." At this point, I was so done. I called my older brother, and I'm now staying with him. I feel bad. I still love my parents. I have some good memories with them, and I don't want to believe that they would intentionally hurt me. Should I apologize and go back? No. No. Here's the thing. The parents are both two grown adults that had a child together. So they need to just politely get their shit together, whether that's separating for a while, divorcing, talking it out, couples therapy, whatever it is. They need to get their shit together and focus on their child, because their child has expressed many times to them now that they are struggling and would like help, but the parents have basically just downplayed their issues, acting like they don't exist or like they're not important because they're trying to work on their own. For a parent to not put their child as their main priority, it just baffles me, and I don't think I will ever understand it. And I just hope that those parents either get their shit together, or, you know, the OP finds a better support system, like their brother, maybe some friends, some other family, because yeah, they need some support. This one is by Lurkin and Stalkin, and it is titled, "Will I be the a-hole for suggesting to my mother-in-law, female 50, for her to give up partners, female only ever seen this subreddit a couple times, but I desperately need other people's opinions on if I'm the a-hole. But here's the basic rundown. My mother-in-law has a partner who's doing IVF to try and conceive for a child. They're trying to do it. Well, I'm saying they, but it's really just her partner. My mother-in-law is really hesitant because she is disabled and has a ton of health issues. Anyway, the partner is trying to do it now because they fear they won't be able to in the future because of their age. Here's what I have a problem with. My mother-in-law has never been good with money. My husband had a rough childhood. She did her best, I'm not trying to put it down, but he lived through hell. Even now, financially, they aren't well off. The trailer they are living in has holes in the floors and the ceilings, black mold in the bathroom, and is quite literally falling apart. It was her great-grandmother's trailer. Not to mention they have 3 big dogs and 2 cats that live inside of that house. They aren't potty trained well. I'm holding back a lot because this isn't the bash my mother-in-law. I'm just upset that she's compliant in letting her partner bring a baby into that environment. She can't take care of that baby, and her partner is the only income in the household. Her partner hates working as it is, and I know they can't balance being pregnant and working 40 hours a week. They missed 1 week at work for the implant, and now their partner. They missed one week at work for the implant, and now their power is out. That tells me they don't even have a dime saved up for the baby. If you're wondering how they have money for the treatments, the job has suspiciously good insurance. But this is my dilemma. This is a human being. I don't know if I can be a bystander in this. I have a 3-month-old baby right now, and maybe that's making me emotional, but I just don't understand why someone would actively try to put a child in that situation. Last news I heard is the doctor saying the egg took. I don't know if it will last, but if it does, I feel like I should. I can't talk today. I feel like I should sit them down and convince them to give it up to another family who is more capable of raising the baby, or give it up for adoption. They can't afford this baby. Anyway, will I be the a-hole? Okay. I will always be a big believer of, if you are struggling financially, you should not have a baby, or at least not intentionally. Like, if you are really, really struggling, you shouldn't bring a baby into a world when you can't promise them any kind of stability. Now, I know that things can happen in life, like you could be, really well off and really stable, and then something bad happens and it all goes, tits up or whatever. I understand that can always happen to people, but if you are, I think it's selfish to purposefully bring a baby or multiple children into an environment where you can't look after them currently, and you know that, whether it's because you don't have the time, whether it's because you're not doing well mentally and you need to work on yourself, whether it's your health issues or financial issues. I always think you should wait. If you want a baby, you should wait until you know that you're gonna be in a better place, because it's sad to see, babies or children grow up in bad environments, or, not being able to eat and stuff like that. It just feels cruel to purposely put them there. I know everyone has the right to have kids and stuff, but sometimes you just have to work within your budget and work within your means. Like, I would really love to have kids right now, or I would really love to have so many pets. I would love to have a husky and a gecko and all this, but I wouldn't get them because So yeah, I don't think they should be trying under their current circumstances. If it's like an accident, then that's happened. You're gonna have to have the baby, or have an abortion. That's fine. I would never say that I would never say that someone should get rid of their baby. That's always someone's choice. Like if you fall pregnant, I would never say, oh, because you're not financially well off, you should get an abortion, because that's a very, very sensitive topic, and people have different opinions on it, whether it's for morals or religion, stuff like that. Some people would never want to have an abortion, and that's fine. But it's the individual's choice. If you want one, you can have one. If you don't, you don't. You'll just have to make do. But where was I going with this? I went off on a massive tangent. Yeah, the fact that they're all living in a small trailer together, so it'll be 2 adults, the baby, and 3 large dogs and 2 cats in such a space. It's like an accident waiting to happen, for one of the dogs to run and knock something on the baby, or stand on the baby, or just something like that. It's not a good idea. And then the whole place is a health hazard. The mold and the holes and stuff are really bad for the baby, really dangerous, and they literally can't afford it. She missed 1 week of work, and she's gonna miss more while being pregnant and stuff, and then afterwards, so they will have no income. So yeah, this one is by fit/AD/661, and it is titled, "Am I the a-hole for not responding to a stranger trying to talk to me?" This is a little silly, but I was thinking about it. So basically, I was in the bathroom and some dude walks in and starts talking. I don't know if he's talking to me or not. I don't even know what he's saying, so I blow him off. I finish and walk out, but as soon as I leave the bathroom, the dude stops what he's doing and just follows me out and calls out to me to say, "Hey, are you good, bro?" I give him a puzzled look and say, "Yeah," before he goes, "I was trying to start a conversation with you and ask you where you're from. Are you sure you're straight?" I was at that point ready to end the interaction, because it's already just awkward at that point, as I tell him where I'm from before he continues asking me if I'm good, before I simply say, "I couldn't hear you," and walk off. I feel like a jerk for being so abrupt with it, and understand getting peeved by someone blowing you off when you greet them despite them having no obligation to talk to you. But I feel like following me out of the bathroom to confront me about it is a bit much, especially when, again, I don't know who this guy is. Edit, I see there's a little confusion in this situation. The dude used the word straight as slang for "are you good" or "are you okay," not in the way meant to interpret sexuality. Definitely not the a-hole. Trying to talk to someone in the bathroom is really weird, especially if you don't know them, and then to follow them out afterwards just to call them out on it is even stranger. Like, what? The only time I can think of like talking in the bathroom as normal is if you go in with your friends, or I don't know if it's the same with guys, but a lot of the time when girls will go out drinking, when you're in the bathrooms and you're fixing your hair or you're washing your hands or whatever in the mirror, and that, a lot of girls who don't know each other will chit chat there, and it's a really nice vibe. But that's just because everyone's drunk and merry and really social at the minute. It's usually not when someone's actually trying to use the bathroom. So yeah. Okay, this one is by Queen Candico, and it's titled, "Am I the a-hole for telling a worker about another worker's So G goes over to A's desk and says something along the lines of, "Hey, I heard you were gluten-free and I wanted to know if you wanted these." A immediately turns around and gives me a nasty look. I was so confused. I was shocked when A told me she was gluten-free. She mentioned it After G left, I went over to A's desk and asked her what was wrong. She said that she was disgusted that I am telling her secrets to everyone, and that she doesn't like people to know her personal business, and this is one of those things she doesn't like to tell others. I was shocked when A told me she was gluten-free. She mentioned it so casually when discussing recipes. She also never said anything about it being a secret. I told her this, and that I was just trying to be nice by making sure someone who could use the food had it. A said that I could have just taken them and asked her, and that it's just none of my business to spread around about her. She said it's basically the same as outing someone's sexuality. She has now been avoiding me at work for a week. We used to be good work friends. I'm confused. I really didn't know dietary restrictions were supposed to be a secret. Maybe it's just something I'm not aware about. So please let me know, am I the a-hole for telling a co-worker about another co-worker's dietary restriction? No, absolutely not. Sorry, just to start this one off. Comparing a co-worker telling her about a dietary restriction to someone being outed for their sexuality is insane. Like that. Excuse my tongue. That is beyond ridiculous and also really damaging. Like, people quite literally get harmed, kicked out, or killed over their sexuality and being outed and stuff. Like, that's so fair to I don't even know. You guys probably understand. Like, that's just insane. That one has like baffled me. And also, like, it's really important for co-workers to know each other's specific dietary requirements in case of stuff like this, so there's no accident. Someone eats the wrong food or anything like that. She never mentioned it was ever supposed to be kept a secret, and also, like, they were just trying to be nice, get over it. It's not like she law dropped your traumatic past. She told someone you were gluten-free so that you could be given the correct food. Get over yourself. Just sounds like that person is, I don't know, a massive weirdo. Okay, we got two more. This one is by Mix50 and it is titled, "Am I the a-hole for refusing to do volunteer work for my mum?" I, 17, male, regularly volunteer at the library that my mum, 49, female, works at, and have been doing this since 6th grade. I was more or less forced into it as a child. The things I most commonly volunteer for are teen programs, free activities for kids from 6th grade through to high school, things like murder mystery events or video game tournaments. The room I work in is loud and echoey, and the kids attending these programs are often rude to people like me. I am openly queer. I'm autistic, and an environment like this is hostile for me, and I'd usually leave these programs drained and overstimulated. With all that being said, I never put up a fight to do this stuff. My mom told me volunteer hours would help me get into a good college, and she's always been a kind of my way or the highway type of parent, so I sucked it up and did them anyways. But as I've been getting older, it's been posing more of an issue in my life. I have a part-time job, and she had asked me for days off in order to I also noticed I was always the oldest at these events, with even most of the other volunteers being middle schoolers. I recently started trying to get a second job in order to make enough money to fly my long-distance girlfriend down to my state this summer. I knew this was going to be a scheduling conflict with volunteering and decided to tell my mum this morning. As I was telling her I had a job interview later, she asked if I could still make it to the program happening tonight. I knew this interview would take a lot out of me. Again, I'm autistic. High-stress social situations are exhausting, so even though the times didn't overlap, I explained I'd be too tired and would prefer to take the night off. She got a bit more insistent and said, "I'd really like to see you there." It was then that I finally told her I didn't want to volunteer anymore. I needed to focus on making money and preparing to be an adult. I've already been accepted into a good college. And I also explained the grievances I had with the environment at the library. After I said this, she blew up at me. She said she was disappointed that I wasn't okay with being uncomfortable for a little while in order to give back to the community. She said life isn't always going to be a sensory friendly, which I know, but that doesn't mean I always want to put myself in a training situation or environment when I'm not getting anything out of it. I explained that to her and she said I was selfish. She brought up the fact that I quit all of my extracurriculars in middle school. I was extremely depressed at the time and couldn't handle them. And she said she thought I had no aspirations or hobbies. This is not true and frankly hurt a lot. I talk to her about my hobbies all the time. I guess I'm just worried I'm being selfish for not wanting to volunteer my time at the library. So am I the a-hole? No, absolutely not. You have volunteered at that place for such a long time now, and it's not your job to give back to the community. In my opinion, you've already done your part there, and it's not your responsibility to do that anyway. You've done it for a long time without fighting your mum on it, even though it was really bad for you. You're now an adult with a job, and you're thinking about going to college soon, and you're trying to prioritize like your relationship and you're working and get money and stuff, which is really, really responsible. It honestly just sounds like the mum is a bit of a control freak. So yeah, not the a-hole. This is gonna be the last story for tonight. It is titled Evil Lawyer 2010. Oh no, sorry, that's the name. And it is titled Am I the a-hole for asking my neighbour to pay for damages his trampoline caused? Also, please forgive my dog for snoring. Today, around 5 PM, I got text messages from our great next door neighbour who said that a trampoline came flying in a storm and damaged our fence/barn behind our house. I accessed our security system via my cell phone and found out the trampoline came from the neighbours across the street. We are not friends with the neighbours across the street, but up to this point I've had no problems with them. I inspected the damage. Our fence was destroyed, almost knocked flat. The trampoline hit the barn so hard it dented the metal walls and broke 2 panels on the garage door. There were all sorts of other minor scraping along the sides of the barn. So, as I was surveilling the damage, the husband of the neighbour across the street came walking up the driveway. He did not appear concerned and more annoyed than anything. I held our broken gate open for him to enter the yard and look at the damage with me. After reviewing the damage together, he asked me what I wanted to do about the damages. I was still a little shocked and said, "Well, your trampoline caused the damages. You are responsible." I'm guessing the damages between $5,000 to $10,000. The fence was decorative aluminium to appear like wrought iron, and the damaged section no idea how to estimate the cost of the repair to the dented, scraped and damaged metal walls of the barn, which again is only 2 years old. The neighbour across the street said, "Well, it's all damage to your property. You should put all the damage through your insurance." I was again shocked and incredulous at the audacity of this person. I told him I'm an attorney. I actually am in my state. Your failure to secure the trampoline caused it to fly into my yard and destroy my fence and damage my barn. I'm not putting a claim on my insurance. I don't want my premiums to increase. I have great insurance and an umbrella on my... I have great insurance and an umbrella due to the ponds on the property, and have a separate rider for the barn just to be safe. Due to my profession, I made sure I have great insurance. I told him I can either get quotes to fix the damage that you can pay, or you can make a claim against your own homeowner's insurance. He said, "Well, I am not paying cash and not making a claim against my insurance. This was an act of God." I said to him, "Okay, I'm sorry you see it that way. My firm sues around 200 cases per week. Not a brag, a fact. Suing one more next week will not be difficult." That is when the neighbours across the street finally agreed to put his homeowners on notice and exchanged his phone number with me. Several colleagues and my mentor said he probably never put the trampoline on his insurance, and unreported trampoline can lead to cancellation of the homeowner's insurance. I'm ideal for assisting the neighbour across the street pay for the damage caused by their trampoline flying onto my property one way or another. No, not the asshole. Someone said in the comments, I remember it from last time because I read it last time. It was basically something along the lines of, in different states it's supposed to be either the homeowners or the like the OB's or the other person's insurance, but it depends on the state. But in their state it should be the neighbour across the street who pays for it, because they didn't secure the trampoline, and just because of the way it works and stuff. So yeah, definitely not the a-hole. They didn't secure the trampoline. Things like this just happen. They just unfortunately need to pay up. But anyway, that is tonight's video. I really hope you guys liked it. I really hope you guys liked it. If you have any different opinions, like I said earlier, please let me know in the comments, because I'm really curious to find out other people's ideas and stuff like that. Yeah, I just find it quite interesting to see how people can have different opinions. But as always,